So, man, where do I start? So, the couples stuff has been really fun.
Mhm,
Mainly because we have a couple of big surprises coming.
mhm.
And maybe I'll come back and share them once we
Ooh,
do our
yeah.
formal announcement. But really big, having done this for, I don't know, 10 years now,
Mhm,
a lot of our couples, they come back and they're like, hey, can you guys do this? Hey, can you do that? Or
mhm.
some couples really ask, like, we want to meet the other people that you've worked with. We want to
Oh, that's
we want to
nice.
connect with other couples, right? Because I think part of the whole relationship piece that is
Yeah,
a struggle for
yeah.
anybody that's in relationship
Mhm.
is who's my community and my tribe that I
Yes.
can trust, right? So like
Mhm,
as women, we may have, or even as men, you may have a crew.
mhm.
That's your crew. That's the person that you talk to, that you hang out with. And maybe all you talk or hang out around are things that are connected to the what your interests are.
Yeah.
But then there's a relationship side where you're like, you may want to hang out with other couples,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
That either are in the same space that you're in, or they're ahead of their relationship, might be ahead in terms of maturity.
mhm.
And so a lot of couples, they always come to us and they're like, man, we want to connect with other couples.
Oh, so you gotta do a retreat.
So we're thinking, well, we don't know, maybe
That's
not,
what I feel. I feel like that there's gonna be a little retreat coming.
and maybe. How have you been?
I'm good. How are
Yeah.
you?
You know, and like ready for like life and school and all that stuff
Mhm.
to slow down so
Yeah,
that like you can have like a reset and it's
yeah.
not like,
It seems like a little crazy, right?
yeah, what are your kids doing for the summer?
Right now we usually see my sister when she comes from Florida, and we always meet at her family's like beach house for like 2 weeks.
Oh, nice.
And then she comes to me and stays meet with me for like 1 week. So it'll just be like cousins and family time. Yeah.
Back and forth. That's
Hmm.
how we used to do it old school back in the day.
Yeah, because like when like it bothers me a little bit when everyone's so like, so what are your kids doing? I'm like, listen, back in the days we had no money and we didn't do jack shit.
We rode our bikes
Yeah.
to each
So
other's houses.
yeah. Yeah. So to me, like when people ask, what are you doing? I'm like, same thing I
Nothing.
did when I was a kid, nothing. Nothing. They have their cousins. They will figure out what the hell to do with their time.
Yeah, they'll be okay.
I'm like, I turned out well, so they're gonna be fun too.
Hmm.
Is school over right now?
For my son, yeah, he was in private school, and
Mhm.
school first he had to do his rites of passage project, which was hiking in the Appalachian Mountain.
What?
Yeah, for a
Really?
whole week.
That is
Mhm.
phenomenal.
Oh yeah, his entire freshman class was like 100 something young men,
Yeah.
broken up into small groups, and they
Yeah.
had like a team leader who is a like an upperclassman. They've been training since April,
Hmm.
with um what are they called? I'm drawing a blank. Navy SEALs. So the Navy
Wow.
SEALs come in, and for like 3-4 weeks,
Yeah.
they like learn CPR, they
Yeah.
learn how to navigate, they learn hiking,
Oh.
direction,
Yeah. How to
all
be
of
a
that.
man? Or survival tactics, like Boy
And
Scouts shit.
practice.
Hmm.
So a week before they did their full 5 days in the mountains, they did 3 days as a practice.
Hmm.
And then they had to come back, debrief as a team. What did we do well? What did we not do so
Wow,
well?
that's fucking fun. I love that. That's amazing that you have like some serious lessons there from Navy SEAL people.
Oh yeah. Oh
Mhm.
yeah. And the tradition, the school has been doing this like the last I don't know, 35 years or something like that. So
Do they do this with girls too?
the school was all boys up
Okay.
until 2 years ago.
Mhm.
And one of the Catholic school girls, all girls schools got shut down.
Mhm.
And it was so amazing because the girls scheduled an appointment with the headmaster of my son's school, and they petitioned and asked him to take over their school.
Wow.
And he agreed. So as of
Wow.
the second year of the girls division, so there's a girls division and there's a boys division, and the girls did their Appalachian hike like a week before the boys.
That's amazing. That is amazing. That is phenomenal. I love that.
Oh yeah, it's it has its ups and downs, because as a parent you're like, what? They're like, where are the adults? The adults are there, but they're along like these checkpoints.
No.
So the adults aren't walking with them.
No?
I think it's 155
What?
miles. It's 55 miles. So there are checkpoints along the way, and the adults are waiting at the checkpoints to make sure that
real.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit. So they're literally
you thought the adults were with
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I thought the adults were with them through this
No.
trip.
The adults are they're in the area, and they're
Yeah.
communicating with the upperclassmen senior team leader.
Mhm.
So there's communication there,
But they're not with them. I thought it'd be like
No.
the Boy Scouts. They're
no.
only
Navigating
Boy
navigating through each section of the hike, they're by themselves.
Wow.
And then when they get to the main checkpoint, the adults are there. They pitch their tents. They, they don't
do a fire and all that stuff.
They sleep outside. They have their sleeping bags. They cook. They have to come prepared with whatever food they're going to eat.
Yeah.
He ate a lot of cup of noodle soup.
Yeah.
That week, a lot of oatmeal.
Yeah.
And then, he had to figure out what his hygiene was going to be.
Yeah.
Right. Was he going to ironically, am I going to shower every day? Am I going to use wipes one day? And am I going to use the bathroom? Am I going to hold myself? Because they're taught how to dig holes so that they can use the bathroom.
It's like full survival Boy Scouts.
End of his school year, which was the week after Memorial Day.
Okay.
And then they went back for 1 week. And he had to do a write-up because they were supposed to keep a journal every day. So then he had to submit a term paper, documenting what he learned, what was the value of it. And once he wrote all of that, once he submitted all of that, it was done.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Now, how was he any different before and after coming back?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my son is like really, really, he was, let me say that. He was very quiet. So he's more of an observant kid. So he'll walk into spaces. He's observing, but he's not necessarily going to be like jump in.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why we wanted him to have the experience, because we wanted him to find his voice.
Yes.
To become a leader. So I tell everybody, I have pictures of him when we dropped him off and when he came back, and he literally looks like a man. You know what it is too? It's twofold, right? It's the younger sibling, which like you, I was as well, and always feeling like you're in the shadow of, you know what I mean? Your older siblings, particularly for me, my brother right above me, which I think your sister was right above you, right?
Yeah, she's 3 years older. 3 years older.
Same thing with my brother. Like he was like a genius.
Yeah.
So he was like really, really smart, honor student, straight A's.
Yeah, that's my brother and sister. Both of them
didn't have to work hard academically, where I was like,
Well, yeah, that's me too. Like my brother and sister were the brainiacs. They got the straight A's, and I could never get my straight A's. Even if I studied so hard, I would get a B. Or B plus, but never, maybe some A's, but like it was very rare and far in between. And I just always felt like I was never enough, so that's like a constant like issue that I'm trying to fix in my brain of like not feeling enough. And I feel like All right. Welcome to the Artandhustle Gallery of Conversations. Welcome back here. I'm so excited. Another conversation of all of these like things that you're doing lately. So like this is like a little catch up because I've seen you on social media. You've been doing your like dope chicks journey and then your relationship like advice. So
Yeah.
get us a little up to date to what's happening.
Ooh. So, man, where do I start? So, the couples stuff has been really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because we have a couple of big surprises coming.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I'll come back and share them once we
Ooh,
do
yeah.
our formal announcement. But really big, having done this for, I don't know, 10 years now,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of our couples, they come back and they're like, hey, can you guys do this? Hey, can you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Or some couples really ask, like, we want to meet the other people that you've worked with.
That's
We
nice.
want to connect with other couples, right? Because I think part of the whole relationship piece that is a struggle for anybody that's in relationship
Mm-hmm.
is who's my community and my tribe
Yes.
I can trust, right? So like as women, we may have, or even as men, you may have a crew.
Mm-hmm.
That's your crew. That's the person that you talk to, that you hang out with. And maybe all you talk or hang out around are things that are connected to what your interests are.
Yeah.
But then there's a relationship side where you're like, you may want to hang out with other couples, right? That either are in the same space that you're in, or they're ahead of their relationship, might be ahead in terms of maturity. And so a lot of couples, they always come to us and they're like, man, we want to connect with other couples.
Oh, so you got to do a retreat.
So we're thinking, well, we don't know, maybe not.
That's what I feel. I feel like that there's gonna be a little retreat coming.
And maybe, but it's an opportunity for couples to meet and have fun and connect for themselves.
And bond. Yeah, bond in like the struggles of everything, right?
There it is. And not feel like you're alone.
Yes.
Because you could really, we were talking before about parenting. You could really feel like you're alone in the parenting process because you're like, man, am I doing something wrong? Or is it just something in the water? So I think when it comes to relationships, you could feel alone. Like, am I the only one that's having these issues, or are we the only ones having
this? And then you want to hear like other people's perspective, or like, okay, let me tell you what's happening. I need your opinion of it. Like, am I going crazy, or is this us, or is it him, is it me, or whatever it is.
And what are you guys doing, right? So it's also that how can we resolve and create solutions that maybe we haven't even thought of, but over here there's another couple, wow, they went through similar situation and we didn't even think about doing what they've done. It's an opportunity to connect and grow around commonality, but also to learn from each other. So we're really excited about what we're doing around that. And matter of fact, I think this Saturday we drop something really fun that we're going to do. As well as the tips. We've been giving out tips recently around communication, because that's like one of the number one
problem between
everybody. Yes.
Between everybody.
Everybody. Everybody, right? So particularly when we think about what's going on in our world.
Exactly. And everybody are not like communication is the huge problem.
Oh yeah. And people are so quick to emotionally go to their instincts, right? Which is we're supposed to be the evolved beings on the planet, right?
No, we're not.
No.
Because majority of us are unconsciously going through life and just on autopilot. So you're just drawing on the resources of like survival techniques of like, this happened to me, so I'm going to react to you from what happened to me in the past. So your reactions aren't present at all either these days. It's a predetermined. Yes, predetermined or whatever it is. Like you already have it in your head of like what's going to happen, and you're reacting to it just from your previous experience, when really that person didn't mean it that way.
No. And it's I think it damages relationships, right? We started talking about like couples because that's what we're doing, but I think in general it damages our relationships.
Mm-hmm.
It challenges how we grow in relationship when
Yeah.
we are so reactive.
Yeah,
When
when
we
people
are,
come in with like a lot of baggages too, and then you
oh yeah.
expect them to be like, listen, I have these baggages and I expect you to like not
Mhm.
not ruffle these baggages, keep them in perfect condition, don't fuck with them, you
No,
know?
because I like it. I like my
Yeah,
baggage.
it's
It's
like this.
cute.
Yeah.
I bought a nice bag
Mhm.
for it.
I got
It's
an LV bag, I got a Gucci bag. Don't fuck with it. It's pretty. Don't touch it. And then you need to
I
like
got my
work
travel
around it. You gotta work
suitcase. I got
around
a
it.
weekender. I got a
Yeah.
duffel.
Mhm.
I got a full
Carry
suitcase,
on. I got
carry on. I got a laptop bag. I got
yep,
everything
yep.
I need.
I got
So
my phone
no,
case.
I even got my TSA.
Mhm.
Move through the line quicker than
Passport
everybody else.
holder. Yeah.
There
Gotta
we
have
go.
all of it. Yeah.
It's funny that you say that because my husband, one of the things he tells people in our sessions when we're working with them is like, you come into a relationship with your bag, and he says your bag is shit, right? It's your
Yeah.
bag, but it's filled with shit. And he said it smells. He
Yeah.
said before you came into the relationship, you're like
Mhm.
you're spraying that good air freshener so no one
Yeah. You're
smells
trying
it.
to make it
But
look
then when
good.
you start to unpack it, so like to your point, you start to unpack it and you're like, don't
Yeah.
touch my bag of
Yeah.
shit. This is
Yeah.
mine.
Don't. This is mine. Don't go there.
No,
Like you're
just
making me feel
smell it.
this way. You're doing this to me. You're making me feel this way. Is what happens, right? When
Keep smelling it.
yeah.
Yes, it's in the suitcase. No, I'm not putting it away,
Yeah.
but endure it.
Yeah.
Stay here with me
Yeah. Enjoy the
and
shit.
smell it.
Smell the. Enjoy the shit that I'm bringing to this. Okay, just enjoy it.
Don't fuss. Don't.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the couples stuff that we're doing. The other stuff that I've been working on is just a lot of women, particularly professional women, are in a space of like they want to grow, but they don't want to grow at the pace of what society says they're supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm finding there are a lot of women who are like, no, I want to explore. I want to explore creativity. I want to explore the things that bring me joy and passion.
Mm-hmm.
And I shouldn't have to sacrifice my career, my education, and what I've done
Mm-hmm.
so that I can have this part of my life also feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
And so recently, I've just been really blessed to be invited to come and facilitate trainings to help women just be like, no, this is me.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with me for wanting more. There's nothing wrong with me for having ideas, and I don't have to sacrifice what brings me joy and passion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to sacrifice that to make other people happy, which
Yeah.
is those are really cool to me, because when I'm in the room and I see women get it.
Yeah. The light bulb goes off, and you're like, yes, you got it.
Yeah, and it's almost like it unlocks a portal for them
Mm-hmm.
to see like, oh shoot, there's more that's possible.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's beautiful when that happens, because otherwise you're stuck in the rat race and you're stuck in just corporate America of the idealistic American dream that you're trying to obtain. And then you realize, it's
It ain't much of a dream.
you're like, this is not it. This is not making me happy,
Mm-mm.
So
And usually, it's funny when I talk about like BIPOC people, Black, Indigenous people of color, like, just when we think of ourselves as people of color, the American dream was not created for people of
no,
color.
no, no.
And so we're constantly striving to fit in a system, and the
Yeah.
system wasn't created.
At all for us,
No.
at all. Like like for my family, immigrants coming here, it's all about the American dream. It's all about making money, honor for the family, and like just creating this image to fit
Mhm.
in this like box, and
Yeah.
it's just never works.
Mm-mm. No, and it doesn't work because the system is inherently flawed.
Yes, yes.
Right? So a system that is set up where all of the mechanisms are there to support white men
Yeah, completely.
and then you're like trying to stick yourself in the system, like, oh, I'm gonna try this. Like,
Like, no, you weren't, they don't want you in there.
no, it's like the triggers that like, so the system works, and then there's like a lever that gets pressed when something is done. Oh, you do this and the lever, but they don't tell you that some of the characteristics for the lever, you're
Mhm.
not meeting them. So you're like,
No, you're not
why
white.
isn't the lever working for me? It's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
one, you're not white, one, you're not a male. Like those, so if you don't fit those two things, you're not gonna fit in.
it's kind of hard. It's
Yeah, so
kind
you
of
might as well just, beat to the, your own drum of whatever makes you happy at this point.
yeah, because in the end, right, we all have to account for the time that we've spent on this planet. We got to account for the time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you spent time trying to achieve something that wasn't um, truly part of who you wanted to be or the mark that you wanted to leave on the planet, it's just,
Mm-hmm.
it's like you look back and you're like, man, look at that time.
Yeah.
Look at that time.
Yeah, because everyone's trying to fit into this like society and propaganda of like everything you have to do. You have to be a mother, you have to be a successful person, career woman, you got to keep your house all tidy. Like you have to do all of these things. And then at the end of the day, you're empty.
Oh, say that part again.
Right. So most
Yeah.
of these women are probably having these problems because they feel completely empty because they're trying to fix and do all of these things that
Mhm.
are like, I don't know, like 10 to 20 jobs that you're doing all at the same time. And it's funny, as I'm winding down my like life to like do more things for myself,
Mm.
it's funny because now I just can't see myself doing the amount of things I did before because I realized I was in such like survival mode that people would look at me and be like, how do you do that, Linda? Like, how do you get any sleep? Do you have any fun? Like, how do you do all of those things? I'm like, I don't know. I just have to do it. But it was this like survival mechanism that I had to succeed. I had to make sure I had enough money to cover everything. But it was this like survival thing. But now that I'm not in it, I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is? It's not even, it's like you realize it brought no value.
No, no,
So it's
not
like,
at all.
why would I continue to do that if there's no value in it?
There's no value and there's no happiness. There was no extra joy that it gave. Like for me to work in corporate America for 23 years,
Mm,
and what do I get out of that?
yeah.
Nothing. Nothing.
Hmm.
Was it even something I wanted to do? No, it was that I needed to make sure that I was not a starving artist. I needed to make sure that I succeeded in the eyes of the family and the Asian culture of like, I am enough. I
Hmm.
can succeed as an artist. So look at me, look at my career. You know what I mean? Like I was
Yeah.
trying to
Oh,
produce
yeah.
this
You
like,
needed something to point to.
yeah, I needed to produce this image of being a successful artist. Like I did it. Look at me. But like really, it doesn't fulfill anything because look at me now. I'm divorced and I'm going back to square one, which is what do I love to do? Art.
Hmm.
Right, and the art of living now is like the beautiful thing I'm doing, the stories and like realizing that me telling one story will heal somebody else and just loving this new medium of film and art, and podcasting is my new form of art now
Yeah.
because
And
it's really building like a community now, so it makes us feel a little more connected to everybody.
I think that's what everyone wants, Linda. Everyone wants community
Yep.
in the way that community makes them feel good,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So for all of our introverts out there who are like, I don't want community, I want to be left alone, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they still want a form of community that respects who they are,
Mm-hmm.
speaks to their needs and their desires. We
Yeah.
all want community, a safe place where we can go
Mm-hmm.
and breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like right now everything that's happening in the world, it makes it really hard for us to breathe, right?
Yes.
We're taking breaths, but we're not like breathing effortlessly. part of it is like we're holding our breath because,
Hmm.
oh my God, what's going to happen on the news? Is there going to
Yeah.
be another mass shooting? And all of a sudden our minds start to kind of like spiral
Yes.
because there's so much, right, that we don't have control over,
Mhm.
that is so daggone freaking scary,
Yeah.
that having a safe community where you can go and breathe,
Hmm.
it's like it doesn't make all that other stuff better. It just makes it bearable.
Yeah. And just to be able to speak it helps your nervous system. Like if you put a label to how you're feeling, just speaking it
Mhm.
helps you, and just be able to talk to somebody about it. Because like I'm like a half introvert, half extrovert, but
Oh, me too.
most of the time I'm introverted, because like I joke with Dave, I'm like, really, I don't really like to talk to people on the phone. So the funny thing is that now I'm doing a podcast, so which is funny, right? But since I'm doing a podcast and recording it and then I edit it, so then that's like my form of art. So like now I enjoy it, so it's like
Yeah, so you enjoy more the process of breaking it down and turning it into something, as opposed to like the raw data of getting all the information and kind of, and I know you enjoy this, but
yeah.
I could hear you saying that, but I really enjoy looking at it and piecing it together and finding the context and the highs and lows of the conversation. That's
Because
the
it's
art for you.
because like I don't like us having the conversation. I don't fully see it and fully hear it until I edit it and watch it on TV. And then I'm like, oh, that was a great conversation. And I'm
Mm,
so glad that it's recorded because so now it's a good teaching moment for me and for other people. So now I can share it with other people. So now it becomes like
yeah.
a full circle moment as opposed to us just having a great conversation on the phone and then we forget about it in a couple hours or tomorrow, but now
Mhm.
it's recorded and now it's like substance that we can share and it makes it more beautiful for me.
Yeah, and you allow other people to join the community because they're eavesdropping on a
Yes.
conversation that
And
we've
people
had.
love that. People love eavesdropping on
Oh
conversations.
yeah.
You're like, oh my God, what are they talking about? Right?
Oh yeah, well, people, that's the nature of our world. People are voyeurs, right? It's
Yes.
like what can I see that nobody else knows that I'm seeing, but I'm
Hmm.
getting like gratification from observing and hearing it.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and that's beautiful. And congratulations. You are killing the game with
Mm,
this. I love seeing you post, and I love seeing the Art and Hustle logo. I
yeah.
love just the whole beauty of it and the conversations. I saw Jordan's
Yeah.
interview with you, which was pretty dope.
It was pretty
Um,
good. Like I'm coming more comfortable in speaking and setting it all up and like it's becoming like more easier as I do more and more of these. So thank you. Like you saw like the journey and you saw like a little bit of the evolution of it and the full circle moments of it. So
oh yeah, I told you you inspired me. So
mhm.
I'm still working on my stuff. My channel is up, and I'm just gonna keep posting. I'm probably gonna take some of our conversation
Yeah,
and throw it up there. The
love
parts
it.
that,
I love it. See,
yeah, like
the fact that I inspired you to just move ahead and do it, even though you were kind of in that mix of like, I'm not sure if I like it. Should I do it?
yeah,
See, that's the whole. See, if I can just help somebody else just move ahead with things, that's the whole purpose, right? Is to help each other and inspire each other. So,
yeah. How
mhm.
have you been navigating through all this stuff that's been going on? You know.
Well, one thing is that long time ago, I stopped watching the news because I
Mhm,
realized a lot of that is fed into the system of what they want you to know. So
mhm.
I took myself out of that matrix of the news.
Yeah.
And now that I've taken myself took myself out of like well I didn't take they took me out of like the whole corporate world also, so I'm in my own like little bubble now,
Mhm.
and so I'm enjoying this like freedom to just be me and just to work on this and try to build up this like um 1,000 subscribers so then I can monetize it. So I'm enjoying my own little world here that I've,
Yeah.
created kind of,
Mhm.
because I want to be able to just talk to everybody. Because, like when people have like these talk shows, they're always talking to famous people. They're always talking to giants of like social media, or giants of like TV and
Hollywood music.
Hollywood, yeah, music and all of that. And I'm like, well, there's plenty of giants among us, and I feel like we all have a story, so I want to give everybody a forum to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that's beautiful.
Hmm.
I think it's beautiful because it's more relatable,
Hmm.
right? People can relate to everyday circumstances. Kind of like our conversation with before talking about motherhood. Like a mom who's full-time working and trying to figure out where kids are going for summer camp,
For
right?
summer camp, yeah, yeah. Our summer camp story.
Or,
What are your
or
kids doing for summer camp?
like
Same
absolutely
thing.
nothing.
Same thing I did as a kid. Nothing. Well, I worked in the restaurant. That was my summer camp.
Yeah, and I think a mom who's living that conversation is more grounding for her, right? She can relate, she gets it. She
Hmm.
understands the like the joys of kids ending school, but then the responsibility of like, okay, what are we doing for the summer?
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Like, and I'm a single mom, so I have to figure out like what do they get. Well, I can't afford to send them anywhere, so we'll just have to figure out like a schedule to do some fun things here and there, and go to the park and figure out some sports to play, and
Mhm.
figure out how to take over the world.
Yeah, one free activity by its at a time, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the beauty of the internet. Our moms didn't have the internet back in the day. Uh,
Hmm.
now we do. So it's
Yeah.
like free fun activities.
Yeah. What can we do over the summer? Here's a list of things that you can do.
Mm,
Yeah.
mhm.
How are you doing with all everything's going on?
I like you. I during the pandemic and before I've really not been a news kind of person. I cycle in based on what's happening. It's funny, I have a mentor
Mhm.
that I studied under for a couple of years for learning how to be a facilitator, learning group dynamics, and how do you like hold a room full of people? How do you help them through psychological processes? And I remember taking one of my mentors' classes,
Mhm.
and I was like, I don't watch the news, I don't do that. And one thing that she taught me, she's like, there is power in knowing
Mhm.
that it is a matrix, but she said you still don't want to remove yourself from it completely
Yeah.
because you want to be mindful of what is being fed into the matrix.
And then
So
be able to talk about it. Mhm.
she gave me a different perspective, right? Because she said, yes, you may not want the interpretation, which is what the media does,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The media interprets
Mhm.
situations and
Mhm.
then brings their interpretation of the situation. And really that's what they're feeding us,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
But the reality of it is a young man walked into a school and shot
Yeah.
8, 20 people.
Yeah.
So her thing is like, you want to be aware of the situation.
And the facts that happen around you. Yep.
Yeah, but she said, because if you're not, how do you become a change agent in the world
Mhm.
if
Mhm.
you're not familiar with the hurts and the pains that people are experiencing? So I say all of that to say I ebb and flow
Yeah. Yeah.
based on what's happening. And if I find myself consuming too much,
Mhm.
um, I take a break.
Yeah.
But I'm not consumed and swept up by the thoughts and the emotions and the opinions. That I'm really good at. Like I will unfollow a person quick, fast, in a hurry.
Mhm. Mhm.
If I find that person is on my timeline in social media and
Yeah.
all they have are opinions I'm like, oh, mute,
Yeah, that's what I was doing
unfollow.
for a really long time. I think I unmuted like and unfollowed or muted like a shitload of people. So then
Yep.
all I was getting were just like gardens and like vacation homes in Italy. And I'm like, man, I don't see anybody. I'm like, oh, I guess I'd have to start following some people. So I'll go back on. But then like if it's negative, I'll just start
Oh
clicking it
yeah,
off. Yeah. So
that, that's
so most of the stuff will just be like nice quotes and things of, other countries because that's what's coming through my feed.
yep. It's so true. And then if I look at something like someone's post and it triggers me, and then I look at their picture and I have no idea who the hell they are, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. They're like, I don't know you. Like,
I don't know you.
yeah.
I don't know you. So why am I even giving you space in my brain? I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll find out like what's happening around the world because like I'm on Facebook, I'm on like LinkedIn and all
Mhm.
of those. So I'll see the news of what's happening. So I'll try to get some of the details of it. But like I try not because like I took my daughter for her 13th birthday. She wanted to get nail tips, right? So she
Mm.
did a whole Google slide presentation to try to persuade me into getting nail
I
tips
love
for
it.
her. And
I love
it was hysterical. She's like, Mommy, can you come here and look at something? And I'm like, sure. And so she's like, look. So she did like, pros, inspiration. Like she did a whole like really professional slideshow
That's
for me.
powerful.
I was like, I was so impressed by it. I was like, this is so impressive. I'm gonna let you do it. But it was already coming down the line because, like I said in another podcast, my sister's daughter is the same age as Maddie, and she already had her hair dyed and already got nails done. So I was like, I know, like they talk every
It's
single
coming.
it's coming. But the fact that she actually took the time to do the presentation was like impressive.
Mhm.
So we were in the nail salon, and all they kept doing was talking about the shooting and
Mm.
the information of it. And I can just feel what I used to feel when I used to watch the news. When I was like, oh my
Kind
God,
of
oh my God, it was that anxiety starts setting in, and this like, I don't, it's just this, it was just,
worry.
yeah, it was this feeling of worry and fear and like stress. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. And the majority of America feels this because they're watching the news all the time,
Time.
all the
Mhm.
time. And you just go into this huge fear state.
Mhm. And it's interesting because the news is like primetime television. Do you know what I
Mhm,
mean? Like how back in the day we would watch things and shows get ratings
mhm,
and your ratings determine what time you get on, who advertises during
mhm.
your show time.
Yeah.
And when the news started to fall into that category as well, I
Mhm.
was like, yeah, it's a performance.
Yeah.
It's a performance.
Yeah, because they try to get ratings, they try to be popular. And now they're trying to figure out how to get back into that because with Netflix and Hulu and all of that, they're getting shut out. Regular news is getting shut out. So now they're trying to control all of it even more now. So like everything's
Yeah.
getting linked up even more.
Hmm.
Like it's crazy now. Google, like you can't just sign into one Google account with one email. It's going to try to connect you to everything else that your Gmail is connected to now. I was like, wow,
Hmm.
the system's getting
Oh yeah.
smarter and smarter. And I was like, oh, this is scary.
Yeah. Listen, it's the process of trying to, for me, which is what I do, and I think what you're doing with your podcast,
Mhm.
is keeping people present.
Yeah.
Really, my book, Spiritually Woke, that's why I titled it Spiritually Woke.
Mhm.
It's this idea that wokeness is about your awareness to what's happening around you,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And particularly being spiritually woke is like almost like you're in those senses that are not the senses that are at the forefront.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not your seeing, hearing, tasting senses. It's your sixth senses. It's the
Yeah.
sense that I try to tell my kids all the time,
Mhm.
follow the inkling. And they
Mhm.
know what I mean when I say that. It's like you're in school or you're somewhere and something just, you feel it that says, don't go there.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't share this with that person.
Mhm.
I was like, those are inklings. They're like, they're the part of us
It's like
that
the
is,
hair triggers in your body, and they're all true because it's mind, body, and soul. It's just not how you hear it. It's everything. Your gut will feel it. Your heart will feel it. Something doesn't seem right. Like I've gotten to that place where I trust my instincts more now. So when I feel it or sense it, I'll just tell people. And it sounds completely crazy sometimes when I tell people things. I'm like, listen, I don't know. I'm just going to tell you how I feel. It sounds crazy, but I'd rather just tell you just in
oh
case
yeah,
something
just
happens.
in case.
Just in
And
case.
and here's the thing, I'm like you, I'd rather share it, the just
Mhm,
in case, than
mhm.
keeping it to myself and then hearing something after and being
Yeah.
like, damn, I should have said something.
Mhm, mhm.
But I'm always telling my kids that I'm like, you follow the inklings, you
Yeah.
follow those little urgings, those little things that you hear.
Mhm.
Because if you don't, like, that's the true gift for us as human beings,
Mhm.
is that.
Yeah.
And when we don't pay attention, it's, listen, our kids are bombarded with so much, Linda.
Yeah.
Like we were saying, our son's doing the video games. There's just and there's so many opinions that come at them that
Mhm.
they don't even have time to formulate their own opinions.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're not sure if their opinions are right, or they get criticized and put
If
down.
it differs from the majority.
Mhm.
So the inklings is what I focus on with my kids. I'm like, listen, you can hear and see and read what everybody else is doing. In the end, I need you to get strong enough in your gut to like,
Yeah.
be like, this doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
I don't care about everybody else.
Mhm.
I'm clear that you all are saying this is what you're cool with and this is good. I said, but you got to go with what works for you, because in
Yeah.
the end, if it doesn't work for you, you're just setting yourself up to be unhappy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what I've been trying to tell my kids also, is to, just trust your gut. Like whatever you're feeling, something doesn't feel right, or someone's making you feel a certain way, just, go the other way and just trust your instincts, because
Mm-hmm.
really, and then I try to, so like I tell my daughter, and my daughter picks it up. So I'll tell them, like, you have all of these gifts, they're all in you. Just that as you get older, you start to lose these gifts. So
Yeah.
know so like she'll be like, yeah, I was feeling it. So sometimes, like, randomly she'll be like, mommy, were you just thinking this? Like, did you just think it because I heard you say it? Like, I'll be in another room or whatever. She'll like, did you just say something, mom? I'm like, well, I was thinking something. So now I have to be conscious of what I'm thinking, because she'll try to pick it up, be like, oh, I just heard you say something. She's like, or I predicted something. Like, I just thought, like, I knew that was going to happen. Like, she'll be like, oh, yeah, I predicted that. Or I heard you say something, even when I didn't say something.
Yeah.
She's like, she's like working on it,
Yeah.
working on her powers.
Listen, that shucks. This is the time for us to do it for them.
Yeah.
Right? Because as they mature and they get older, the world is set up to discourage that,
Yeah. Yeah.
not necessarily to encourage it, right?
Yeah.
Because people are
Completely.
so consumed with what they can touch, see, feel, and hear, that anything outside of that is considered like, oh no, that
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
can't be real.
And that's a huge thing, because like growing up in my childhood, I never had that experience of someone fostering, like, and supporting, oh, you're Linda, you're good, you can trust your instincts. No, all of that was like suppressed fully,
Mm.
and like covered up, and like, no, everything was wrong, and you could, like, home was never safe for me. So like being me never felt safe. So it's only till I turned 40. I was telling this to Deborah, like, only till I turned 40 did I wake up. And so now I'm
Mm.
46. So technically I'm only 6 years old in this life of being present.
Of being present.
Of being present, like literally, I'm only 6 years old, because I never fully woke up from all of that till I was like around 40.
Yeah.
So it's a
That
whole
is,
new world for me.
let me tell you something. It's a different world and we engage it differently.
Mhm.
And that's one of the things in the book, Spiritually Woke, that I'm like, listen, you want to be present
Mhm.
to every moment. Like, what does it mean to live in gratitude? What does it mean to be a contribution to the world,
Mhm.
right? Because when you're not present to that, then someone's going to define it for you.
Yeah, it's like if you don't stand for something,
Woo!
you're just gonna, what was that? If you don't stand for something, you're gonna fall
You
for
fall for
everything.
anything. Mhm.
Fall
Or
for
everything.
anything.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I can understand, like, my kids, and how like they're like quiet to like speak, because that's how I was before.
Yeah.
So it's funny that I'm doing a podcast now, because I've always been kind of scared to speak my points of view, and be able to stand in the forefront, to be able to own my presence and own my voice. So this is like a beautiful new realm that I'm doing here, because this is not who I was ever before, you know.
Mhm. Well, listen, whether it came 6 years ago, 10 years ago, or 2 hours ago,
Yeah.
the fact that I truly believe the fact that we are still breathing means we have another chance.
Yes. Yep.
The fact that you took a breath means you have another chance to kind of fully embrace and walk into like, why were we here? And until I don't have any more breath, you keep going and you keep moving.
Yeah, and it's beautiful that and this is your purpose now, is to help everybody step into that.
Oh yeah. I love it. It's work.
And it went into like finally getting back to me, my art. All I want to do is art. And the other thing is that I love stories. So like to me, art isn't everything. Your art is your voice, your speaking, your connection. You can feel everyone's energy. That's your art. It's the art of living to me. So Art and Hustle to me is the art of living and art of it and everything.
I hope that you cut that piece right there and make it your intro and your outro, because that was dope.